If your resume isn't ATS friendly, then it doesn't stand a chance. Here's why. Hi, I'm Bronhil, your career coach, guiding you to a more successful you. Grab a notepad because this episode will challenge the way you will submit your future job applications. Nearly all resumes today are scanned by what is known as an applicant tracking system, ATS for short. And these systems are also called the gatekeepers. Now, if you know the role of a gatekeeper, you know that their job is to block applications from hitting the hands of recruiters. Now, you have to know how to play the game. You have to know what to do in order to pass through this system so your applications, your resumes hit the hands of recruiters. Don't you worry, I've got you. I'm going to tell you how to do that. Relax, okay? Let's take you through 3 rules you need to follow in order to get your resume passed through these gatekeepers, the applicant tracking system, and into the hands of the recruiting manager. If you are really excited about this topic, I want you to do something now for me. Hit the like button. I'll wait. Okay, you've done that? Now go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. You've done that? Great. Now what I want you to do is to hit that notification bell because I want you to be notified each time I upload a video. Don't be left out. And don't be selfish. Share. That's what we do around here. We share. Okay, let's get into it. Let's first start by defining what is an applicant tracking system and its role in helping us as recruiters. It is a software that helps us as recruiters or hiring managers to collect, scan, sort, and most importantly, rank your applications. And it ranks your applications based on your qualifications and certain keywords to be found in your resume. Now, the resume bot or this applicant tracking system, what it does is to group resumes into various categories and then it scans them for some specific keywords. Similar to what you do when you're typing in words in Google and Google goes and search based on the words that you put in, it's something similar to that. The ATS now scans your resumes with the purpose of weeding out those unqualified applicants. Sorry, applicants. You know, in times past, it was the human's responsibility to weed out those unqualified applications and to present to the hiring managers those applications that are most qualified. So now what we're seeing is that the applicant tracking system does this. And once it weeds out those unqualified candidates or application, it now presents the recruiters with those most qualified applicants. So in a nutshell, basically what the ATS ranking system does is to automatically rate your applications to see how they match up to that job description. Yes? And so resumes with the higher matches will get higher rankings naturally. And they will begin to move up to the top of the pile and into the hands of the recruiter and ultimately lands you an interview. Now, if you don't know the basic rules of how to get your resume past this applicant tracking system, the gatekeeper, then your best chance of getting noticed by the hiring manager would have been diminished. Uh-huh. But don't you worry, I've got you. You know I've got you. I'm going to reveal 3 rules that you must practice in order to get past these gatekeepers, these applicant tracking system. So let's look at some statistics that will help to demonstrate what your resume is up against when it lands into an applicant tracking system. In this example, 250 applications were received for a single job opening. Now, when the ATS begins to match your resumes to the job description, guess what? It will start to reject about 75% of them, maybe 90%. But in this example, it has rejected 75% of them. So what does that mean? It means that only 4 to 6 applicants will be called in for that interview. And out of that number, only 1 person will be offered the job. I want you to stay with me because we're getting there. We're going to beat this system. Okay? With that said, let me take you now through the rules or measures that you can follow to ensure that your resume journeys successfully through that ATS. Let's go. Rule number 1, infuse your resume with keywords. We want you to plug. I'm telling you, plug your resumes. Look at the job description and begin to plug your resumes with keywords that are pulled from that job description. Because the applicant system uses keywords to rank and then flush only qualified applications to the top of the resume pile and into the hands of the recruiter, it now becomes imperative that you infuse your resumes with keywords and phrases. I hear you. You're asking me, where do I find these keywords? I've got you. Have faith. Well, you find these keywords naturally in the job descriptions, in the job postings. And if you don't have a job description, then you do the next best thing, which is, you see, I've got you, which is to begin to research the industry that you want to work in. Yes, and begin also to identify those major keywords, those major keywords that relate to that specific industry or the position you seek. See how many times I tell you I've got you? So we're going to go through some examples now. So let me walk through how you do this, how you begin to identify those keywords. First, let's examine this job description. In this job description, the company is trying to identify or hire a social media manager. And they're looking for someone who is experienced, someone who's passionate and creative in the social media world. And the social media manager will be responsible for, importantly, they'll be responsible for developing and implementing the company's social media strategy. They're doing this in order to achieve something. So they're hiring you to develop and implement a strategy to increase their online presence and improve their marketing and sales efforts. So when you look at the remaining duties or the broader duties, they list them as follows: to develop, implement, manage our social media strategy, define the most important social media KPIs, manage and oversee social media content, measure the success of social media campaign, and use social media marketing tools such as a buffer. Now, a buffer is those applications that you use when you want to post to all the social media platforms at once. When you want to schedule, you can schedule when you want to make those postings, etc. All right, so in your resume response, you want to look at what is important to the role. What are those keywords that are embedded in the job description that you want to pull out and put in your resume. So from this job description, we pull the following keywords and phrases to put it right in your resume. We use the word creative because you're looking for someone that's creative. And naturally, with social media, you need to employ people that can think and be creative, to get excitement and to entice persons to want to look at what you are offering. Okay? Social media. The third thing is they want someone to develop, implement, and manage their social media strategies. So you want to prove to them that in the past you have developed, implemented, and managed social media strategies for other companies. And the buffer, you'd want to state what buffer you have used in the past. So now that we have identified those keywords from the job descriptions, we want to now go ahead and infuse it or plug it in to your resume, throughout your resume. In this example, we have incorporated these keywords into the resume. And by doing this, we are really giving this applicant the chance of passing through that applicant tracking system. Let us now look at the resume. We have stated that this person is experienced, possessing over 5 years experience in managing and overseeing social media content, defining KPIs, and conducting audience and buyer persona research. They are passionate and creative, and they specialize in developing and implementing social media strategies that impacts business growth. Further, we have listed some skills that are key to the job: brand awareness, content optimization, relationship building, etc. Now it's important to note here, let me just state this right here, right now. It is important that when you're listing these keywords, that you consider their frequency and their placement throughout the resume. You should what you want to do is to group together the key terms and separate them into different sections throughout that resume. So don't pile them up all together in the profile section. Just filter them throughout your resume and group them together. Make them make sense wherever you place them. So now we're at rule number 2 with one more to go. So rule number 2, apply for only those roles you are qualified for. Can't stress that enough. Ensure that whatever role that you have applied for, you are qualified for. Do not apply for a job if you do not have the core skills needed to perform that job. Final rule, and there are more, but these are the top 3. Rule number 3, forget the fancy formats. Creative or fancy resumes are more difficult for the applicant tracking system to read. So for an ATS to be able to scan your resume for those relevant keywords, it will convert first. What the ATS is doing or will do is to convert your resume that you have uploaded, yes, to a text-only file. So in doing so, your fancy formatting will be lost, or the ATS will not be able to gather the vital information, and so the recruiter may never lay eyes on your beautifully laid out resume format. I want you to comment below. Please comment below. Let's talk. Comment below. Let's discuss your challenges in getting past the ATS. Did you know of such a system? And will you implement these rules going forward when you are submitting your application in response to a job ad? Let me know. Now, here are a few things to avoid when formatting your resume to successfully pass through that applicant tracking system. Avoid images such as your pictures, because I have seen resumes come in with pictures on it. So avoid those. Avoid the use of graphics or graphs on your resumes. Avoid the use of columns on your resumes, because since the ATS is programmed to read from left to right, just as how we as humans read, that if you place columns there, it will also read straight across from left to right. Okay? You know that wouldn't make sense. Okay? Because they wouldn't be connecting because they're already in columns. Avoid uncommon section headings. So you want to stick to those more conventional headings, such as work experience, using the word education, using the word skills, using summary statement or profile. Yes, so you want to stick to the more conventional headings when you are writing your resumes to submit them through this applicant tracking system. And remember, oftentimes you don't know if it's going through an applicant tracking system. So I would apply all these rules and these things to avoid in every single resume that you submit. Finally, you want to avoid the use of uncommon fonts. I've seen some fancy fonts, and I'm sure those fonts you have to download. Those are not regular Word fonts. So if you have to download a particular font, forget it. Don't do it. Avoid those fonts that you have to download and just stick to the more universal fonts like Times New Roman, Arial, Cambria, Georgia, you know, those more common everyday type of fonts. Now you know exactly how to get your resumes past these applicant tracking systems, past these gatekeepers. Now you know what to do to get your resumes past these applicant tracking system gatekeepers. So I expect you to ensure that your resume follow these 3 rules, as well as those tips that I gave you on what to avoid when putting your resume together. If you want to learn how to craft your most marketable resume that lands interviews, then you'll want to join my resume writing masterclass by clicking the link below this video. And you know, it is really for persons who are currently struggling to get those job interviews, to write those resumes, yes, and who want to just elevate their job search game. For those of you who have enjoyed this video, you know the drill by now. Be sure to share it out on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, all the other social media platforms. And the more people can see this, the more I can get job seekers become more successful in their job search. And don't forget to tag me when you're sharing. I feel the love when you do that. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And if you like this video, hit the like button below. Share it with your friends. We love when you share around here. And go ahead and hit that notification bell to be notified every week when we upload a new video. And the next video you want to watch for sure is this one right here. Go ahead, click it. Click. I'll see you in the next video. Walk good.